Both the design and meaning behind wedding cakes have drastically changed over the centuries. From a simple loaf of bread to the extravagant tiered masterpieces that every bride wants on her wedding day. In ancient Rome, grooms would break a barley cake over the bride's head, symbolizing his authority over her. In medieval England, wedding cakes were simply flour-based, unsweetened bread. The newlywed couple would attempt to kiss over a pile of this bread, and if they succeeded, it was believed to ensure a long future together, and also many children. The wedding guests would gather and take home pieces of this bread and hide it under their pillows, hoping that they would be the next to be married. In 19th century Scotland, friends of the bride would cover her head with a napkin and pour a basket of bread over her. In early Britain, wedding cakes originated with bride's pie. Now, the original recipe consisted of bread, oysters, lamb testicles, calf's feet, and an array of different spices. This pie also contained a special prize for the wedding guests, a glass ring. The woman who found this ring was believed to be the next to be married. Now, the popularity of white cakes didn't come too early. By the 16th century, sugar had become very plentiful. The whiter the sugar, the more refined it was. Completely white icing was a sign of the family's wealth, but also a symbol of the bride's purity. The cutting of the cake was originally delegated to the bride alone, but when the number of guests grew larger, so did the cake, and the bride could no longer do it alone. The task of the bride and groom cutting the cake together was a tradition that still exists today, and it's considered to be the couple's first task as husband and wife. Bride and grooms also feed the first slice of cake to each other. That is a symbol of the provision that the couple will have for each other as they start the new life together. The origin of the groom's cake is unclear, but it is thought that it's to be served by the groom to the bridesmaids. It was in the Victorian era that wedding cakes grew to be the large tiered masterpieces that we see today. Queen Elizabeth's wedding cake weighed 500 pounds. And some famous wedding cakes have been saved and treasured for years. Queen Victoria's wedding cake has been on display at Windsor Castle for 167 years. The wedding cake of Queen Victoria's daughter took just over 3 months to make and was recently auctioned off for $215, but that was just for one slice. Princess Diana's wedding cake was 5 feet tall and covered in miniature sculptures of soldiers. This cake was so treasured that 2 copies were made as backups in case of an accident. Most people believe that a wedding cake should be white, but brides no longer want a traditional wedding cake. Many modern brides can style their cakes after their dresses, flowers, centerpieces, or any other decoration. Instead of a traditional white cake with white icing, modern brides can choose from a variety of cake flavors, fillings, icings, shapes, sizes, colors, and any other decoration. Today, brides even have the choice to have life-size replicas of themselves, their grooms, or any other object. These extravagant cakes can also have mechanics in them to allow them to move or make sounds. Fondant is a growing trend in most bakeries today. Fondant is a smooth sugar dough that can be rolled out and formed over the cake to provide a smooth, seamless finish and the perfect canvas for piping, painting, or sugar flowers. It can be sculpted and colored in any way imaginable, and allows bakers to create masterpieces with unlimited possibilities. Cupcakes are also a growing trend in most modern weddings. For centuries, some form of wedding cake has been present in all wedding ceremonies, even if it started out as a simple loaf of bread. Wedding cakes were, and still are, the centerpiece of every wedding table. So in the famous words of Marie Antoinette, let them eat cake.